sort of signal that can create that some, I don't know, chemical signal that might draw them to the egg. But in reality, it's a difficult journey, and statistics show that on a normal, shall we say, one act of carnal relations, the likelihood of a sperm meeting an egg are about 3% successful. And it's supposed to be getting worse. And in fact, nowadays in the Western world, apparently 1 in 7 couples seek help in conceiving because they're just not doing it. Now, something that may be relevant to this is that a lot of studies in recent years have shown that the male sperm count has dropped significantly. In fact, the most long-term study, I can't remember the name of the company that did it, but over nearly 40 years, including 200 different studies, it calculated that since 1973 to 2011, the male sperm count around the world had dropped by 50%. Now, that's actually quite staggering when you think about it. And various reasons have been put forward for that. For example, diets or lifestyle, even, and a serious one, even tight underwear has been put forward as a possible reason why men have lost a lot of their sperm count, which in turn produces ultimately even less babies, which is maybe partly why the birth rate in so many countries is that much lower. But all that said, it's very difficult to actually prove one way or another whether a sperm count or general sperm count has dropped, because healthy men of any age really, but certainly of in their prime, have such huge variations of sperm production. And those variations are producing in a single, well, I tell you what, from 1 million to 120 million in 1 milliliter of fluid. 1 million sperm to 120. Now, they say the average is about 30 million in the average milliliter. And in one act of a carnal relation, there's usually about 3 millimeters. So the male body produces, 3 milliliters, 3 times 100 million, speaks for itself, enough to repopulate a medium-sized country from one man if those sperm are all doing their job. But of course, it is only one who is seeking to get there. Quite why we produce such an extravagant surplus of spermatozoa when only one is actually going to be successful, if it is at all, is a question science really has yet to answer. They just don't know why that is the case. But it's interesting, as I say, how did we get here? Well, that's the side of it from the male. So let's look at the eggs from the women. Now, in fact, a week or two ago, we talked about eggs, didn't we? The eating kind. So that's nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so women, they have their eggs, but likewise, similar to men, they have an extraordinary excess of need in terms of the numbers of eggs. Now, I don't know whether you know or realize it, but women are born with their life supply of eggs. They actually have them when they're born. They don't regenerate them. And to look at that a bit more deeply, a 20-week-old fetus, female fetus, weighing what? I don't know, 3 or 4 ounces, will already have 6 million eggs in have 6 million eggs in that tiny fetus. 6 million eggs. Now, by the time another 20 weeks has gone by or thereabouts and the baby is born, she's down to 1 million eggs. So for reasons not fully understood, 6 million eggs are produced, and that reduces at quite a rate over 20 weeks to 1 million eggs at birth. And really, from there until childbearing years, they sit waiting around, if you like,
Mm.
in the ovaries, still reducing, not at the same pace, diminishing. But
Yeah.
when a woman is ready for childbearing years, she has about 180,000 eggs left. And again, why she has that many, um, far more than she could ever need, and why there's been such a diminishing of the numbers from originally 6 million, are two more imponderables that the powers that be don't know. Science doesn't understand why that should be the case. So it's kind of strange, isn't it, that both men and women
Yeah.
have far more uh, than is necessary reproductive capability, reproductive possibility in both sides of it, the sperm and the eggs. And as far as the eggs are concerned, one of the things that may be happening is that more women in the Western world, particularly, but probably around the world, are choosing to postpone their childbearing until, I suppose, mid-30s or beyond, for reasons of wanting, understandably, to have a career and so on. But that is, again, the law of diminishing returns does mean that she'll have less eggs as time goes by, so that the possibilities, the chances of actually fertilizing that egg through a sperm get less because there's less of the eggs. It's just true to say that some European countries, but also including Japan and Singapore, the average age of women starting their childbearing there is about 33, 34. Some other European countries, including, I think, Hong Kong, it's late 20s, which includes Britain. I think our average age of a woman having her first child is about 28 and a half years.
Wow.
The USA is a bit of an outlier because they're about 26, the age there, which is younger.
Mm.
So the point is, by the age of 35, a woman will have exhausted 95% of her eggs. So she will there'll still be plenty
Wow.
left, but that's vast majority will have gone. So it means there's less chances of fertilization, and apparently those that are left not only are less in quantity, but sometimes slightly.